Congratulations, we actually did it. We made it through another year. 2021 finally is coming to a close, and in a tried and tested tradition here at the Membership Guys podcast, we are finishing out the year by looking back at the 10 most popular episodes of the show during 2021. So without any further ado, let's get into it.
You're listening to the Membership Guys podcast, bringing you proven, practical tips and advice from the leading experts on growing a successful membership business each and every week. And now, here's your host, Mike Morrison.
Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 338, the final episode of the Membership Guys podcast in 2021. I hope you've had a fantastic holiday period if you celebrate. If you don't, then I hope you just had a fantastic week since the last time we got to spend a little bit of time together and I got to come into your ears with some membership tips and advice. We put out a lot of great episodes this year, if I say so myself, and so I'm looking forward to taking part in the annual tradition we have here on the show of looking back and counting down the 10 most popular episodes that you guys loved the most, you listened to the most during the past 12 months. Now, before we dive in, if you're a brand new listener, if this is the very first time you're coming across the Membership Guys podcast, first of all, you picked a great one to start with because right away you're getting the cliff notes on which 10 episodes you should be checking out first. And if you head to the membershipguys.com/338, then you'll find the links to all of the top 10 episodes we'll be covering today. But also, if you can take just a second to hit subscribe in your podcast app or wherever it is you are listening to the show from, then that will ensure that you do not miss a single weekly dose of proven practical tips and advice for your membership business. And if you're a long-term listener, if you have been subscribed to the show for ages or even just for a few weeks, thank you. I appreciate you so much. I love being able to help you with your membership, whatever stage you're in. Thanks for all the reviews. Thanks for all the listens, all the positive feedback that you've given us throughout 2021. And hopefully you'll continue to give us in the coming years. So with all of that said, we're going to dive into the 10 most popular episodes of the Membership Guys podcast during the past year. Starting with number 10. That was episode 303, all about how we built our audience before we launched our membership. So, of course, we have our own membership. We are the Membership Guys. We teach people about memberships, and naturally, we have a membership about memberships called Membership Academy. But all the way back in 2015, when we first launched the Academy, we'd only really been up and running as a brand. We'd only really been around as the Membership Guys, podcasting, blogging, helping people on a larger scale for a few months. Prior to that, we'd been working with clients one-on-one. And so when we made the decision to really embrace our role as teachers, as educators within the membership space, we had to move pretty quickly in terms of building our audience. So episode 303 is all about how we did that. We basically, from the very first piece of content we put out publicly to launching the membership, we basically had 3 months. But in that time, we built up an audience that was large enough to give us a successful launch for Membership Academy that we built on over the years and have welcomed thousands and thousands of membership owners into that academy. But it all started back in 2015. And if you want to know how we built that audience, check out episode 303. Here's a little clip from that episode. So we decided to run an email challenge all around how to start a membership in 30 days. We timed it so that the challenge would conclude right before we opened the doors to the membership. So it would lead straight into the membership. So we were really kind of ramping up that noise and giving that extra push of activity throughout the final month as we built up to the launch. And that extra noise helped us get a bit of an uptick in waitlist signups too, because we started to get that little bit of a buzz. I think we had about 450 to 500-ish on our email list. So that had been built over a space of 2 or 3 months. Nothing to be sniffed at, but definitely not tens of thousands. Definitely not the massive audiences I think most people think that they need to have. And of those 450, around 150 of them were on our wait list. All told, we ended that launch with around 150 members. So about a third of our list. So that's 150 members at $29 a month. That was over $4,000 a month for us. So that was our living expenses covered. Pretty much everything after that has been gravy. All right, so if you want to hear the full episode, the full story of how we built our audience before launching our membership, you want to listen to episode 303. You can find that at themembershipguys.com/303 or within the show notes for today's episode. All right, so that is number 10 in our countdown. Number 9 on our list of most popular, most downloaded episodes of the Membership Guys podcast in 2021 is... It's episode 298, Avoiding the 6 Common Member Retention Mistakes. So membership retention is as important, if not more important. Actually, no, scrap that. It's more important than member acquisition, but so many membership owners get it wrong. In episode 298, I shared the 6 most common, biggest mistakes that a lot of membership owners make when it comes to retention, both before and after they've lost a member, they've had a cancellation. So we talk about how to avoid some of the easy fixable mistakes that could be costing you members, but also what to do when someone has canceled to improve the chances of getting people back. So, very important episode to listen to. Here's a little taste of episode 298. We see people who are so scared of losing their members that they almost become a little punishing in their approach to retention. So they make the cancellation process really, really difficult, or they make it so that somebody can't actually cancel their own subscription. They have to jump through all sorts of hoops. They have to get on a sales call or a cancellation call, which is actually a sales call, in order to convince someone to allow them to leave the membership. So this is almost an overcorrection for people who don't put any effort and don't put any thought into retention. But it's an approach that comes from fear, from a scarcity mindset of worrying that if you actually let people leave of their own accord, if you give them the power to just click a button and cancel their membership, then everyone is going to disappear. If the only thing standing in the way between someone being a member and someone leaving is that you have hidden the cancellation button, then you've got bigger problems, my friend. So that is an absolute no-no for me, making the cancellation process difficult. I like to say that you should make the decision to cancel difficult, not the process. So if you want to listen to that full episode and find out about the 6 most common member retention mistakes, and more importantly, how to avoid them, head over to themembershipguys.com/298. All right, the countdown continues with number 8 in our list of most popular episodes of 2021. That was episode 313, Musings about Money and Mindset in the Membership World. So this was an interesting one for me recording it because it's quite different from the typical episode that we put out here at the Membership Guys. It was very much just a general, broad, loosely defined thing that I wanted to talk about. And so I didn't really have a script. I had a few little scribbled notes. And what you hear in that episode is just stream of consciousness about everything related to making money, fear of being too successful, fear of not being successful enough, almost embarrassment or, concern about talking about money, and the whole mindset piece around the financial side, as well as some of the more unique elements of the membership world as they relate to the finances, the money, the figures. So it was a very different, a very unique, and a very enjoyable episode for me to almost get some things off my chest, to give an insight into, my own, I suppose you call them money blocks, or, how I approach the financial side and maybe obstacles that I've had to try and overcome, and Callie as well, when it comes to thinking about, talking about, and making money. So yeah, this was a really, really popular one because it tackled the topic of making money online, which is so often this overhyped, overglammed, overglitzed topic. It really tackled it from a completely different perspective, not one that you often hear talk about. And we had so much incredible feedback on this. So I would definitely recommend you check this one out. Here's a little clip from that episode. It's okay to be successful and not constantly telling people on social media you're successful. We've always had this mantra of succeed in silence. There was a saying that I saw that was similar to that years ago that I thought just perfectly encapsulated my mindset around not having to brag, not having to flaunt every little win, every success. And it wasn't succeed in silence, but I tend to say that. It's something like success doesn't shout or wealth doesn't, money talks, wealth whispers, something like that, right? The point is just, dude, if you're doing well, you're making money, like you don't have to brag about it on social media all the time. So if you're worried about people, what people might say or think about the fact you're doing well for yourself, the fact your membership's successful and you're making money, then if you're not shouting from the rooftops for every dollar that you make, then no one's going to say or think anything, because people are only going to comment on how much money you're making if you start that conversation, right? If you want to, all power to you, as long as you're honest and authentic. But if you are worried about what people might say and think about the money you're making, it's okay to make a lot of money and be very successful and not brag about it on social media. All right, so if you want to hear all of my musings about money and mindset in the membership world, head to themembershipguys.com/313. That is definitely one that I would recommend you check out, particularly if you're finding yourself almost struggling with the mindset side. If you find yourself worrying about, seeing other people who are really successful and who are bragging about it on social media and all that sort of stuff, and there's just something in your brain that's holding you back or maybe making you feel insecure or worried or whatever, check this episode out. It's one I think every single membership owner, wherever they are in their journey, should be listening to. And you can hear the full episode at themembershipguys.com/313. All right, now on to the next in our countdown. This is the 6th most popular episode of the Membership Guys podcast in the last 12 months. That is episode 316, Why People Aren't Joining Your Membership Site. Here's a little clip from that episode. Trust is everything. Trust is currency in business, online or offline, especially with a membership site, because they're not just buying one thing from you today. They are entering into an ongoing relationship with you. They are signing up to learn from you, to be served by you, to put their faith in you month to month. That takes a much stronger relationship, a much stronger trust. So if they don't know who you are, if you're not established, if your brand is new, if you're not a known entity, if you don't have a body of work, some content they can read or listen to or watch, recommendations, social proof, other people saying you are trustworthy, then your audience might be more hesitant to do business with you and to join your membership, especially when it comes to memberships versus standalone products. When it's a one-off standalone product, they may take a punt. Joining a membership is a much more considered decision. So this is why we're huge fans of content marketing. We always extol the virtues of content marketing for membership owners in particular, because that goes a long, long way to build trust, to strengthen that relationship, to help people connect with you, to get to know your voice, to verify for them that you are someone worth listening to. So this is a very, very valuable episode to listen to. If you feel like you're doing everything right, you've got all the pieces of the puzzle in terms of your marketing strategy and your sales funnel in place, but for some reason it's just not delivering in terms of people joining your membership, there are some things that we find membership owners or just business owners in general, particularly in the online space, overlook or don't give enough emphasis to or priority on. So if you're struggling, or if you're doing okay, but you just want to make sure that you are taking care of all the different elements that are required to drive member sales, check out episode 316, themembershipguys.com/316, to find out some of the reasons why people might not be joining your membership. I can pretty much guarantee you there'll be at least one or two on that list that you won't have thought of. All right, next we have the 5th most popular episode of the Membership Guys podcast in 2021. That was episode 292, all about answering the question of whether or not you are leaving money on the table in your membership business. So again, this is another one about money and mindset, but it's a bit more specific because we often encounter situations where membership owners have been told, okay, it's great that you have a membership, it's great that it's making money, but you're really missing out on these opportunities. You really should have these extra revenue streams. You can't have a business that's just a membership. And if you do, you're doing things wrong. I see people giving this advice. I see people receiving this advice. I see people pulling their hair out because their coach or their favorite business guru has told them this, but they just want to run a membership site. They love running a membership. That's all they want to do. So I dive into this whole idea about leaving money on the table in your membership business in episode 292. Here's a little snippet from that episode. Memberships can work very well as part of a larger ecosystem of products and services, and a lot of entrepreneurs will feel driven just by their nature to feel like they have to jump on every possible opportunity available to them. However, that doesn't mean that you have to go in that direction if it's not something that you want to do. If you don't want to offer coaching, if you don't want to introduce a high-level program, if you don't want to run events, it doesn't mean your way of doing business is wrong. You don't have to do anything you don't enjoy or anything that just doesn't feel like the right fit to you, the right fit to your business, the right fit to your audience. And there's nothing wrong with talking about additional revenue streams. This isn't a rant against the suggestion that you should have other revenue streams, not at all. What really grinds my gears is when you get people telling you that you must do all these things. You must, you have to, you got to, you need to offer coaching. You must at a premium tier, and you're doing it wrong. If you leave money on the table, why would you leave money on the table? Thing is, there is no must in business. Just what's right for you. What we say to this idea that you must add these things is that it's fine to leave money on the table if it's not a table you want to be at. All right, so if you've ever been told that you're leaving money on the table in your membership business, head over to themembershipguys.com/292 for my take on that whole scenario. Okay, we're getting into the top 5, but just as a quick recap, number 10 was episode 303, how we built our audience before launching our membership. Number 9 was episode 298, avoiding the 6 most common member retention mistakes. Number 8 was episode 313, my musings about money and mindset in the membership world. Number 7, 316, why people aren't joining your membership website. And number 6 was episode 292, are you leaving money on the table in your membership business? All right, it's starting to get serious now. The 5th most popular episode of the Membership Guys podcast in 2021 was episode 289, all about competing with established memberships in your market. Here's a little clip from that episode. You don't need the whole pie. Chances are your market is probably way bigger than you are ever likely to be able to serve yourself. If you've got millions of people who are interested in photography, the actual percentage of that marketplace that you need to capture, that you need to get to sign up to your membership will be minuscule in order to reach a good place with your membership site. You know, I talk about it quite often. I'm a big fan of Kevin Kelly's concept of 1,000 true fans. And this is the idea that any creator, all they need is 1,000 rabid fans who will pay for anything that they put out, who will bend over backwards to do business with you, who love your stuff. You're their guy, you're their girl, you're their person. They are true super fans. If you have 1,000 people paying you $50 a month, that's $50,000 a month, that's $600,000 per year. Is that enough for you? Are you nodding your head now? Do you need more? $600,000 a year for the vast majority of people listening to this podcast, that's way more than they need. They'd be happy with that. So you don't need the whole pie. So if you are up against some big names, some big players in your membership space, and it's either putting you off starting a new membership or making you feel like you're really up against it with your existing membership, episode 289 is essential listening. And that little snippet that we shared there, that thing about the 1,000 true fans, I'm such a big fan of that principle. Kevin Callie, who coined it, man, this was 10, 15, 20 years ago. I can't even remember. He's absolutely nailed it. And it's so applicable to the membership world. It's always something to keep in mind. You don't need the whole pie. You just need a bit. And a bit is enough for most people. So if this is something you've been struggling with, check out episode 289 at themembershipguys.com/289. You see how this is working? We make it nice and easy. It's just themembershipguys.com/the episode number. It's easy. All right, next in our countdown of the 10 most popular episodes in 2021, in at number 4, that was episode 291, all about how to encourage engagement without nagging your members. So this is a one that actually has been on my list to do for a while because it's a tricky one to manage. Getting that balance between making sure you're reaching out and you're reminding people enough to use your membership if they're not, to finish that course that they started, to log in if they've not logged in for a while, to reply to a conversation that they'd started. All these things are really important to keep people engaged, to remind people, to nudge them to come back. But there's definitely a real fine balance between being useful and helpful and being annoying, being overbearing, nagging and alienating your members and essentially having the opposite effect of what you're going for. So this episode has a lot of my thoughts and my tips on how you can maintain and achieve that balance, how you can be present, be reminding and nudging people and encouraging them to engage with your content without going over the top. Here's a little clip from that episode. Keep in mind that not everyone in your membership will engage in the way that you want them to. And don't make assumptions about what engagement is and isn't acceptable. You could have someone who's logging in every day, consuming every course you have. They're lapping it up, they love it, but they never, ever participate in your community. If you have it in your mind that the most important thing for you is that members participate in your community, you could find yourself nagging someone about not being engaged when actually they're highly engaged. They're just engaged in parts of your membership that you're not prioritizing. When it comes to community, a lot of people base how engaged their membership is on activity in the community. The vast majority of members in any given membership community will not be visible. They'll not reply. Make sure that you're not nagging members and accosting them for not being engaged when they are actually engaged. They're just engaging in their own way and they're perfectly happy. The thing is, with that little clip that we just shared there, that's something so many membership owners, when we talk to them about this, they've never really thought of. They very much define and frame engagement by what they would do or what they want their members to do. And so if those boxes aren't being checked, they don't think that their members are engaged. But engagement really does come in different forms. So I would definitely encourage you to check out that episode about how to encourage engagement without nagging your members over at themembershipguys.com/291. All right, we're into the top 3. This is our bronze prize. The third most popular episode of the show in the last 12 months was episode 288, using Instagram stories to promote your membership. So this was quite an interesting one to come in as our third most popular episode because it's real specific. It's not necessarily as broadly applicable to memberships or membership owners. Not every membership owner really uses social media. The ones who do, they don't all use Instagram. The ones who use Instagram don't always use stories. So it kind of made me chuckle that this was the third most popular episode with you guys. But actually, there's a lot of really useful practical tips. And based on feedback that we've had and based on changes we've seen our members and our audience make to their strategy since they listened to this episode, actually a lot of the things that you can do in Instagram stories, people haven't realized that either those features existed or hadn't connected the dots between them and what's happening in the membership. So if you use Instagram and you want to make better use of the stories feature to promote your membership directly, or if that's something that's on your list to focus on in 2022 and beyond, head over to themembershipguys.com/288 for some practical steps you can take to really put Instagram stories to work for promoting your membership. And here is a little clip from that episode. One other fantastic way of using Instagram stories is to actually share the behind the scenes of your membership, because you're not turning up to sell, you're not turning up to pitch, you're showing people your life. It's just that your life just so happens to significantly feature your membership, right? So you can use Instagram stories to record little videos when you're creating content for your membership. You can do a boomerang video of you scrolling through the slides that you are writing up for a new course. Maybe you do a video of you setting up your camera to record some new material, perhaps designing workbooks and so on. If you're about to go live on a member Q&A call, then you could hop onto your Instagram story 5 or 10 minutes beforehand while you're sitting there in front of your computer ready to kind of start the Q&A. That's something we do with our Q&As. Usually when we're setting up, we obviously switch on the light, switch on the camera, get everything prepared. I'll usually whip out the phone and I'll do a very quick video for my Instagram story where, we're just reminding people, because some of the people watching will be members. So it's a reminder for them to come over and take part in the Q&A. Some people won't be members, and actually maybe this is the first time they're hearing about Membership Academy. So it raises the awareness for them. Or maybe they've heard about Membership Academy, but they didn't know that we did these live Q&As. And that could be the thing that tips the balance. All right, so once again, that full episode can be found at themembershipguys.com/288. It's a very practical, very, very tactical episode. And actually, if you go to that link I just gave you, you'll find some screenshots, you'll find some examples of some of the tactics that we talked about in that episode. Okay, narrowly missing out on that top spot in second position, picking up the silver prize for the most popular episodes of the show in the last year was episode 287. Setting goals for your membership business. So this is a timely one to bring back to your attention because obviously with a new year, for a lot of people, that's the time where they set out their goals for the coming months. And so it's no surprise that this one was popular. Setting goals and having a clear practical process, which is what I share in episode 287, is critical to really getting a handle on how your membership is doing, where it's going, and how you're going to get there. You can only manage to get so far by just winging it, by just taking it one day at a time, one member at a time. You need clear goals and a practical plan for achieving them. So, as we enter this new year, follow the practical process that we share in episode 287 to set out your goals for 2022. And here's a little clip from that episode. You might be thinking about where you want to be at the end of the year, where you might want to be in 2 years' time, 5 years' time, 10 years' time. But we tend to prefer not to get bogged down in too much detail beyond 90 days. So when you're assessing your current situation, you might be thinking about threats and opportunities that could arise 6 months, 12 months, 18 months down the line. And you might set those longer term goals and think longer term in terms of your strategy. But in terms of specific tactics and specific actions, I think once you start trying to nail down things in real specific terms beyond the next 90 days, then there's more of a chance that things will go awry. And then you have that situation where maybe you're 2 months in and you're halfway to where you thought you'd be by this point. Then you've got to sit and try and adjust the plan and think about, okay, do we need to speed this up? Do we need to change that? Because if a whole year's worth of your workload is basically crammed into this plan, then yeah, it can more easily fall apart. Whereas when you do things in a 90-day cycle, then you allow yourself breathing room, a little bit of flexibility to adapt and to change, because the situation will change throughout the year. 2020 has shown us that the situation can be completely upended at the drop of a hat. Things will change. All right, so you can listen to the full episode and get a breakdown of that practical process that we have for setting goals in your membership at themembershipguys.com/287. Okay, this is it. We have arrived. The number one episode from the past 12 months of the Membership Guys podcast will be revealed in just a second after this quick rundown of the rest of the top 10. In 10 was episode 303 about building our audience before our launch. In 9th was 298, the 6 most common retention mistakes. In 8 was my musings about money and mindset in the membership world. That's episode 313. 7 was 316, why people aren't joining your membership. In 6th, are you leaving money on the table in your membership business? Listen to episode 292 to find out. In 5th, we had episode 289, all about how to compete with established memberships in your market. 4th place was episode 291, about how to encourage engagement without nagging and annoying your members. Picking up the bronze was our episode about using Instagram stories to promote your membership. That's episode 288. And in second place, episode 287, all about setting goals. And that means that the most popular, most listened to, most downloaded episode of the Membership Guys podcast in 2021 was episode 300, in which we shared our untold origin story of the Membership Guys. It kind of couldn't be any other episode. This was a big, big milestone for us. 300 episodes of the Membership Guys podcast. That's kind of crazy. This is perhaps the longest commitment I've actually made to something each and every week for 300 weeks. Well, 338 weeks now. We have delivered proven practical tips and advice on growing your membership business. And so hitting that milestone with episode 300 was such a huge deal, such a huge achievement, something that myself and Callie have been very, very proud of. I know you don't hear from Callie much on this show, but you do in episode 300. We go all the way back deep into our personal, kind of private history, not just how did the Membership Guys start and, the business side of it coming together. We go deep. We share a lot of the personal struggles that we've dealt with. We talk about depression. We talk about money issues. We talk about burnout. We talk about nearly quitting. We talk about the risks that we took, the real massive gamble that we took actually when starting Membership Academy and committing to going all in. So we really just kind of took away any pretense, any kind of caution about not wanting to be seen to have never had everything together and never had, everything figured out at every stage of our history. Like, we get raw, we get very, very honest. And the result is what I feel, and certainly what you feel, not just from your feedback, but from the fact this was by far the most popular episode of the show. We made for a pretty compelling origin story. And, as membership superheroes, we've got to have an origin story. So here's a little clip from that episode 300, our most popular episode of the Membership Guys podcast in 2021. When we hit the point where we were pretty much taking on as many clients as we could, and we could be a bit more picky, a bit choosier about who we worked with, there was always that bias towards membership projects.
Yeah, definitely. And but I think it was only like 2014. It wasn't that long when we just kind of ended up just focusing solely on memberships.
It was like, let's stop kidding ourselves that we want to work on anything other than memberships. We were turning away pretty much anything except from memberships and online courses.
Yeah, memberships, online courses.
Yeah.
And part of the reason for me that I loved focusing on those membership projects was because of the complexity of them, because there's so many different moving parts, so many things.
And we don't mean the tech complexity, the strategic complexity, the logistical complexity. We talked before about, mentioned about fulfillment. Fulfillment is something we put a huge premium on. And when you do the kind of work we do, so much of that fulfillment comes from feeling like you are using all the different tools in your arsenal. So for someone like me, and at this point, someone like Callie, who now has a whole complementary set of tech skills to pair up with my tech skills, if all we were doing was just the tech, we wouldn't be fulfilled.
No.
Because we know, well, we can build you a great website, but if you listen to us about the marketing, if you listen to us about the member experience, if you listen to us about the high level strategy, then that's going to be more on the website. It's going to be a business that is massively successful. And that is it. We made it. We made it to the end of the year, and we made it to the end of our countdown with the single most popular episode of the Membership Guys podcast in 2021, our untold origin story. Remember, if you head over to the membershipguys.com/338, you will find links to all of the episodes that made the top 10. So you can listen to them till your heart's content. You can listen to them in whatever order. It's fantastic. So make sure you head over to the membershipguys.com/338 to get all of those links. You don't need to memorize the episode numbers from the countdown or anything like that, unless there's a particular one that jumped out to you. I just want to take this opportunity to express the massive, immense levels of gratitude myself, Callie, and all of the Membership Guys team have to each and every single one of you. Every second of your attention that we are able to get is a valuable gift that you give us, and we never, ever, ever take that for granted. So please, please know that we love and appreciate each and every one of you who chooses to spend a little part of your day with us every single week, and we hope you'll continue to do so in 2022 and beyond. And speaking of which, speaking of the future, speaking of 2022, next week we have a pretty huge announcement about the Membership Guys, about this podcast, and about the future of both. This is a big deal for us. It's a big change. It's an exciting change. And I'm going to stop talking because I'm so close to just giving the whole game away. So that will be episode 339, and it'll be the first episode of 2022. A massive, massive game changer for us here at the Membership Guys. We hope that you will join us on next week's episode. I will be joined by Callie. That's how big a deal it is. I'm bringing in the big hitter. I'm bringing in the better half of the Membership Guys to help talk about this big change that's going to be happening at the start of 2022. So hopefully we will see you there. But in the meantime and in between time, stay safe. Have a great rest of your holiday period. Have a fantastic new year if it's the new year for you and if you celebrate. And we'll see you on the other side. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out membershipacademy.com. The Membership Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. Whether you're still trying to figure out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website's already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Membership Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, step-by-step membership roadmap, exclusive member-only discount perks and tools, as well as our supportive, active community that will help you along the way with feedback, encouragement, and advice, the Membership Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage, and grow a successful membership business. Check it out at membershipacademy.com.